Hello everyone, my name is James and welcome to another creature breakdown in Shard TCG, and today we're taking a look at the worms. So we're starting off with our only one shard worm of the origin set, the Leechin. It's a one shard Fey type worm. Now for people who don't know, Fey type means that they are partial to vitality, which is increasing their health, which is that big number right in the middle there. Though not so big at 2, it does get a lot stronger if the Leechin can stay on the field, which it is incredibly good at when you take a look at its title, Cloaked, which is just above the 2 health there. So Cloaked allows it to not be targeted by other creatures unless they have specific effects that say otherwise. So the Leechin's really good at just hiding on the field and using that siphon action there to its left. The siphon attack, which has leeching attached to it, allows it to gain vitality when it declares an attack. And if you didn't think that was strong enough, it has the added bonus of its effect, Blood Bag. When this creature is destroyed, you gain +1 life for each vitality this creature had. So when we look at the Leechin, it is a hard to kill creature because it's always hiding and it just stays there building up all of its vitality, which makes it even harder to kill. And if you manage to actually kill the damn thing, guess what? Your opponent gets a nice big bonus. Now I have to say, out of all the worms that we've created, the Leechin probably gets played the most. It is a really strong and basic card. It's easy to get out, it's easy to keep alive, and it's easy to build up vitality. It is an excellent card and worth putting in pretty much any type of deck. So if you're ever stuck on what to do in Shard TCG and you don't know where to start, maybe start with one of these bad boys because they very rarely let you down. They honestly do. Now we move on to our 2 shard acid worm, the Vermidax. Now the Vermidax has a nice effect called Nourishment, which really combos with the Leechin. Target an ally creature, destroy the ally creature. You gain +1 shard for each vitality the target creature had. Now the Vermidax can work with lots of other creatures as well, but when you're building a worm deck, a Vermidax and a Leechin are essential, really. Their synergy is terrifying, absolutely terrifying, because you can start generating so many shards so easily with those 2 creatures out in the field. He does lack a bit of strength in his counter ability, Dripping Acid, with only a 2 for a 2 shard creature. That's not really too valuable. Its 4 health is pretty standard, but it's got a 4 attack Stomach Acid, which would be quite standard, except that the attack also has Dissolve, which means he is a shield breaker. Dissolve stops shields from taking effect, which means the Vermidax comes in and he can wreak havoc on those defensive stall decks. So if you're ever playing an opponent in Shard and they're using Earth or Order type defensive stalling decks, Vermidax will break down those walls and get you to your opponent's life, which is what you need to do to start wreaking the damage to win those games. And as a little side note, I love the way the Vermidax looks in this picture. It looks like he just stood on something really slimy and he's not happy about it. So I really love how this one came out. That little twisted tongue. Oh, I know I'm just, praising my own artwork, but sometimes you end up hating your own art, and after all this time I still absolutely love this one. So when it comes to my art, the Vermidax gets my seal of approval. Alright, we're moving on to our 3 shard worm creatures now, of which there are 3 of from the origin set. And the first one we're going to take a look at is our frost worm, the Serpix. Now the Serpix has Regurgitate Ooze. Now if you haven't realized the theme of the worms yet, they do like to consume. They are all consuming creatures. So Regurgitate Ooze likes to eat ally creatures as well, and you get a little bonus for it. So, target an opposing creature, target an ally creature. Destroy the ally creature and sleep the opposing creature. That basically means the Serpix is looking to its left or right and it's having a little munch on something. But it doesn't quite agree with it, so what does it do? It coughs up this lovely ooze, this frosted ooze that can stall your opponent, which does exactly what the Sap ability does on its Freezing Billow attack. So maybe you might ask, why does it have an effect and an attack that does the same thing? Well, the advantage of the Regurgitate Ooze effect is that it can use it over and over and over again. If you've got loads of creatures out in your field, yes, it is costly, but you can essentially put to sleep all of your opponent's creatures and could just go for a nice 6 attack on your opponent's life if you so choose. Now, I'm not saying that you can do that every single turn, but if you could, you would win in 5 turns. So it shows potentially how powerful this effect can be. And for that reason, the Serpix should definitely not be underestimated. Okay, and next up we have the Umibass. Now the Umibass is a 3-shard lava worm and it has Eruption, which is only a 3 attack. So how is that going to do much damage? Well, the attack Eruption also has Splash. Now Splash means that that 3 damage doesn't just affect that creature that you target, it also affects the adjacent creatures. So it can potentially do up to 9 damage. It's just spread across 3 creatures. Now I know this is situational, but it is really good for clearing out 1-shard creatures that are good at flooding the field. But keep in mind, we haven't looked at its effect yet, Engorging Power. Now Engorging Power, target an ally creature, destroy the ally creature. This creature gains +1 strength. So now the Umibass is gaining +1 strength, and if you remember, that splash attack spreads out the damage. So a +1 to this Umibass means it's now inflicting 4 damage, which means it can inflict a total of 12 damage across 3 creatures just from a +1 strength. That is a huge multiplier. So imagine if you target just a couple of creatures and you get a +5, you're inflicting 15 damage from one single creature, and it hasn't even had any spells or anything cast to it. You just need to consume a couple of your own creatures. So at first look, the Umibass doesn't look like it is anything too powerful, but once you delve into its effect and how it combos with its splash ability, this thing is a monster. It is a nightmare to challenge. And in the future, when we have more lava and worm creatures that the Umibass might want to combo off of, we're going to see the Umibass becoming a very strong meta. Potentially. The future is never certain, so we don't know. But I could really see it happening, and we are going to have to keep a close eye on this creature. And I just want to take this opportunity in the video, if you've still been watching up to this point, I just want to thank you so much. A lot of people do click off much earlier than this, and I just want to say thank you, and it would mean the world to me if you leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out the channel, gets more people discovering Shard TCG, and more people who discover Shard TCG means there's more people to play with in Shard TCG, which makes the game overall a better game, and I would be internally grateful for that. Thank you very much. And with that, we move on to the Krusk. Now the Krusk is my favorite worm. Yes, it is my earthworm, it is mine, nobody else's, nobody can use it. I love this creature, I love the way the artwork came out, I love the sand splashed out, you can feel the chaos of this worm arching over the top of you. It is beautiful. Not many creatures have a 2-block. It is quite powerful. So its sand screen ability, where it can actually mitigate 2 damage, is very strong, because 2 damage is essentially 1 level. So you are turning 4-shard creatures into 3-shard creatures potentially when they're inflicting damage. So that is a huge bonus for the Krusk to have that. Now when we look at its effect, Fortified Diet, target an ally creature, destroy the ally creature. This creature gains +1 shield. Now it's even stronger. This thing can just build up so much shield and just have nothing even touch it. except a Vermidax with dissolve, of course, and other acid type creatures that will have that dissolve ability. They can tear down blocks, unfortunately, which is a big weakness for the Krusk, but you don't want any type of creature to just run away with an all-powerful effect. But the Krusk is a very big challenge to face when this thing comes out onto the field. Now, in terms of its health and attack being a 5/5, it is below par. But like I said earlier, it makes up for that with its 2 shield. That is very strong, and its added effect where it can add further blocking power to that. The Krusk is basically your mid-level bodyguard. Keep that on the field and it will keep your 1 and 2 shard creatures safe. Now, I know there's only 5 worms in the Origins set, and it's not really enough to build a really good worm deck, but we are working on that. If you want to check out our latest worms that we have, you can go to shardtcg.com and look on creatures and search worms through that. There you'll be able to see our latest worms from set 2, Reigns of Deceit. Whenever we have a new creature that is ready, we'll put it straight up onto the website. It will be available for you to view, speculate, and even add to custom decks through the website, which you can then play on Tabletop Simulator. So hop on to shardtcg.com to have a little explore, but most importantly, have fun. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, especially if you've made it all the way to the very end. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, that would be the cherry on top of the sundae for me, and I'd just like to say thank you very much. Goodbye.